Recently, I bought my first ever iMac, and yes, I love it. Huge screen, loads of power, but it does have one big flaw. Portable, it is not. Sometimes I just want to slouch on the sofa or lie in bed, just lazily watching videos or surfing adult sites. That is where a low-power, small laptop that has no bells or whistles, just surfs the web, allows me to work on scripts, videos, and has a huge battery life, comes in handy. So, when Sky TV, a satellite TV provider here in the UK, offered such a machine for free, when you take out a new contract with them, who could resist? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Lenovo 100S Ideapad. Well, at least, the box for now. We will go more through the specs shortly, but for now, I'll let you know that this has a wee tiny 11.6-inch display, sports a modest Intel Atom Z3735F CPU. Yes, be the life and soul of the party and attract the opposite sex by talking all about that at your next party. See what happens. Anyway, it also has 2GB of memory and 32GB of storage, which a lot of people may not realise is shared with the operating system. So by the time that's finished eating into it, you're left with around 18GB. All this can be yours at the time of recording this video for the penny pinching price of around $179 or around £150. First of all, let's see what you get in this rather plain but rather sturdy box. Well, once you've removed her top, messes, you get to see the first glance of the machine itself, and I must say that with this particular colour choice has some of the feel of a budget MacBook Air about it. It is available in various other colours. Fortunately, Sky were wise in their choice as to which they provided, as they did not give a choice to the end user. The box itself is very well designed with these two fold-up compartments. In the left-hand one, we find the usual adapter. Looks like a European plug natively, but they very kindly provide you with this adapter to connect it to Her Majesty's power grid. In the other side, you get the international warranty, health and... oh, who cares about this bloody crap? Onto the important part, the system itself, which has a healthy but not excessive weight of 2.2 pounds, which does add to the impression of a well-built system. Initial impressions of the case are of good quality shell. It does have this very nice silky feeling to the covers. The silkscreen logo is well done and feels like it will not be removed easily by the rigours of life of being such a portable device. On the front, we have what is known as the front. Not much to see here. Moving around to the right hand side, we have one of the system's methods of communication with the outside world, 2x USB 2.0 ports. More about this later. To the rear there is, well, bugger all, and on the left hand side we have the power jack, a HDMI out port, standard, take note Apple, headphone jack, and a micro SD card. Under the machine we find no surprises, apart from the fact that the speakers are under here. This is the first time I've personally ever seen a company put them down here, which is why the feet are a wee bit more bulky than your average foot, but they do provide excellent grip when it's placed on a desk. The hinge opens with a reassuring firmness. Luckily, they decided to make the hinges metal, a detail that is appreciated as it will greatly assist the longevity of the system. Inside, on this particular colour selection, it's all black. A splash of colour somewhere would not have gone amiss, especially as some of the market for this might be younger people being bought their first system. Other than that, there is nothing much to complain about. It's all nicely made. There is a small power button to the back right, where you will also find a power light, a battery light that is green when charging and orange when the battery is low, and a very curious button called the Novo button, which is a brilliant idea. If you press it when the system is powered down, it boots into a menu, giving you access to the BIOS menu or the ability to restore the system. One last feature of the case itself is that the screen will hinge back all the way to 180 degrees, although, slap me and call me a monkey, but I can't think of any reason why you'd want to. Switching her on, she does boot in a reasonable time for such a low-powered system, aided by the fact there is no physical hard drive. A limitation of the system does quickly become apparent though. This is not an expensive IPS screen here, so angles are not the best, and settling down to watch a video may take the odd bit of tweaking until it's just right, until you move again. This effect is apparent in both the vertical and horizontal planes. The other problem with the screen is that although it will go more than bright enough, I've found, colours do seem at times to be a bit saturated. At this price and size though, none of these issues are to the point of being a deal breaker. No siree. Unless a high quality camera is important to you, then for God's sake, don't choose this one. Just don't. Before we look at what Lenovo have kindly included in the OS itself, let's take a look at one of the most important areas of the system, the keyboard. Those used to larger keyboards may find this one a tad annoying at first. This is due for a start to what appears to be slightly smaller keys. Adding to this is the fact that, understandably on a machine where space is at a premium, they do not go down very far and could be considered a wee bit mushy, therefore not providing as much tactile feedback as many faster typers would perhaps desire. There is that, and perhaps due to the limited amount of money Lenovo are willing to spend on the construction costs, the keyboard actually wobbles in use, although you don't really notice this when typing unless you look at it. Other than that, the only other gripe is this tiny return key, which results in some frustration until you get used to it. The trackpad, located below the keyboard, is the usual fare. It's responsive, and instead of using the left button, you can single tap it to select the application of your desire. The only problem here is that, as I've heard other reviewers mention before, there is no multi-touch. People had hoped that Lenovo would fix this with an update, but as of the time of this review, that has not been forthcoming. Looking at the operating system itself, you get all the usual Microsoft gumph and a limited trial of Microsoft Office, which you quickly remove and replace with OpenOffice. Up yours, Microsoft! Apart from that, Lenovo have kindly provided the usual manuals on the system. Bloody well done, sirs! The only criticism here, and I don't know if this is unique to mine, although I've done the Cortana microphone configuration, Cortana consistently complains that it can't hear me. Maybe just mine needs a hearing aid. The system does come with the Edge browser as usual with Windows 10, but you'll excuse me if I use Firefox instead. Performance on the internet is fine with HD videos playing away happily and no appreciable delay in loading pages. Just don't buy this computer if you're expecting to play the latest AAA games. It's not designed for that, so just don't. Playing videos does show another limitation of the system, and that's the aforementioned stupid design of the speakers. Who the hell puts speakers underneath a computer? Well, for what they do provide a good volume, but obviously they are tinny, no bass, and are never going to set the world on fire. But I seriously don't think that was ever a consideration when designing them. One huge advantage to this system is battery life. I've had over 9 hours out of it whilst watching YouTube and Netflix constantly, and without heavy use like that, you can possibly comfortably get 12 hours out of the one I have when doing word processing etc. if you keep the screen brightness down. One obvious limitation of the system is that just under 18GB of storage. For what it's actually designed for, web browsing, working with documents, and putting your own video on to watch, yes, it's going to be fine. If that's not acceptable, then you have the option of using up to 64GB SD card, or you can use an external drive through the USB connection, although USB 2.0 may not be as fast as some desire. As for me, I tend to use Google's OneDrive when I'm out and about, and at home I have a NAS drive it streams off over the Wi-Fi, and it works a treat for me. Well, is the Lenovo 100S Ideapad worth the $179 or £149 investment? Well, yes, if you're after a very portable little laptop that's going to be used for surfing the web, watching videos, listening to music, and want a very long battery life, I don't think you can go far wrong with this. It's well built, performs admirably for its specification. I even had Sony Vegas rendering on it and it was actually usable. If you're after a powerhouse of gaming computing power, this is not the one for you, but it doesn't even attempt to pretend to be. The screen is not perfect, but for the price it's very usable. The speakers are not going to set the music world on fire, but they are adequate for most tasks. But if you plug headphones in, it does give very good performance on them, and there are options for expanding that meager memory if you need. This could even replace a tablet for those who want a physical keyboard or something a bit more rugged. Plus, a low price means you don't have to wrap it up in cotton wool so much. If you watched the review and thought, that will suit my needs, well, I provided links to both US and UK Amazon pages where you can acquire one. If you do, be sure to let me know how you get on with it in the comments. In fact, if you do already own one, let us know also. Other than that, if you've enjoyed the review, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's completely free. You can also hang out with like-minded geeks and nerds in our Facebook group and on Twitter. Links below. If you want to support the channel, I also have Patreon. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed, hope you've learned something, and thanks very much for watching.
You need to quit being dirty. You're a dirty boy.